Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast for conscious, cycle-breaking parents ready to turn toddler tantrums into teachable moments. Hi, I'm Cara Tyrrell, a lifetime lover of littles, mom to 2 grown and flown girls, and an early childhood educator. Through the show, I teach you my collaborative parenting methodology for nurturing your little human's mind, body, and spirit. Because how you connect and collaborate in the first 5 years is how you raise happy, healthy kids who grow into the best version of themselves and find true success in school and life. Okay, collaborative parents, today we're talking about boundaries and behaviors. They're not the same thing, although of course they play in the same conversations and bring you to similar outcomes. But there is a major difference between setting and holding a boundary and demanding a behavior. I'm going to say it again. This is an important one. There is a huge difference between setting and holding a boundary and demanding a behavior. I think that you can already hear the difference in the energy behind those two statements. When we set and hold a boundary, we are invested in the communication with our kids. We are invested in being interested in what they have to say and whether or not they can give to this conversation on how to solve our problem and get to our desired outcome. When we demand a behavior to get there, that word already just tells me we are headed to power struggle because you have automatically triggered their fight or flight reaction by having a strong statement of this is what you must do. And as soon as you trigger their fight or flight reaction, they're going to dig in their heels, whether it's conscious or subconscious, and they're going to come back at you with a negative statement, a no of some variety, however that's in, and then you're going to get triggered, your fight or flight, and you are going to come back at them, and then you enter what I call the trigger trap reaction cycle. One person gets triggered, reacts. The next one gets triggered by their reaction and reacts. And around and around and around you go until you pull the, well, I'm the adult because I said so, just do it or else card. So let's pull this apart. How can we get the outcome we're looking for without landing ourselves in the trigger trap reaction cycle? Because boundaries are very important. So I want to tell you a story about a recent experience that I had babysitting. As you know, my kids are older, but hanging out with littles is truly how I fill my heart back up. It's how I fill my cup back up. It's also how I stay finger on the pulse of what's going on in your world with toddlers and preschoolers and kindergartners. So this little nugget is a kindergartner. I've known her whole life, and now she is halfway through her kindergarten year. And I was over there. We were having a great time. We hadn't seen each other for a while. And she actually started the conversation with a power sentence that triggered me. She said, "I'm done with dinner. Here, take my plate." And I froze. So fight, flight, freeze. I froze, actually, first. And as soon as I froze, because that's my habit, if I have to be in a trigger space, I would prefer to be frozen for a second, because then I can actually turn on my cognition and be self-aware that I just got triggered. I can hear myself say in my head, "Ooh, you got triggered." After that, I have a choice to make. I can react or I can respond. "Here, take my plate," she demanded. And I said, My natural instincts, right? My human instincts want me to blurt. No, you do it. You take your plate to the sink. It's your job. It's your plate. That is our natural reaction as humans, especially if we were raised with that type of interaction style, especially if you can hear those parents, those caregivers in your head, what they would say, what tone they would use. That's just what we want to come out. But I didn't want to fall into the trigger trap reaction cycle. I did not want to get into a power struggle with this very strong-willed, very smart, very capable negotiator of a 6-year-old. So instead, I said, it's our job to make sure that we keep this kitchen clean. I chose a plural pronoun for a reason. It's our job. And she sat there for just a hot second and she looked at me and she said, thinking that she was, going to get my goat again. She gave me another, what she considered power statement and said, well, my mommy says, now listen, if you start your sentence like that as a little, you are trying to push the adult's buttons. Well, my mommy says that we have to rinse our plates after we eat because otherwise it sticks. The food sticks. I knew I had an opening. I was like, yes, yes. Your mom is exactly right. Here, she says again, rinse my plate. Whew, she was on fire. Right? And with a smile on her face. 100% smile. She was on fire. She really wanted me to play into her power play. And I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. The boundary was set and she helped me set it. I said, it's our job to keep the kitchen clean. And she said, we have to get this plate rinsed. Which brought us all the way back to, it has to get to the sink somehow. Okay, so we have the boundary line. Now I'm going to hold that boundary through a collaborative conversation. But I refuse to step into her power play and join her there because I just know it's not going to end well. So I said, yes, your mom's absolutely right. We do need to get this plate rinsed so that it doesn't stick. Sounds like one of us needs to get the plate to the sink. And the other one of us should rinse it. 2 people, 2 jobs, working together, same outcome. Which job would she like? The getting the plate to the sink or the rinsing? She walked it over, plopped it in. It was plastic, don't worry, not breakable. I rinsed it, and we got to do this really cool thing. We got to celebrate. We did it. We worked together, and we got that done. We met the boundary together. Without arguing, without anger, without power struggles. And yes, it took a couple minutes, and it took some very carefully chosen words, but it was so worth it. Because when you can celebrate a positive outcome, a we did it moment, then you know you have scaffolded your kids to want more of that, to want less of the energy that goes into the power struggles and more of the feeling that comes from collaboratively problem solving together and celebrating. I think back now and I realize as I was developing this way of parenting, this methodology, it was such an empowering journey when my girls were little, but when they were really little, I wasn't great at it yet. I was stumbling. and it was hard work. And I kept falling back into my old patterns, my old words, and my old traps. And then finally one day I was able to make the leap, but it took practice and intention. If you are a parent who is feeling it right now, you know you want to parent differently than you were parented. You know you want to use words that weren't used for you. You know that your words design your child's inner voice, and you want to adopt a collaborative parenting practice. Consider joining the next cohort of my Transforming the Toddler Years course. It starts in May, and we are going to come together with a small, intimate group of like-minded parents who are ready to tackle this together and create massive transformation inside your home, in the deep connection that you have with your child, and how to hold these boundaries with love and connection. All right, mamas and daddies out there, until the next episode, I pray that you stay mindful and proactive as we transform the toddler years.